Greetings everyone, William here. Just brought into the shop, bought this quite a few weeks ago actually. It's been sitting around in the crate, sitting around much too long. Bought this River BDR 185. Believe this is the largest drum mower that is made, as far as I know. I could be mistaken on that. Gonna do an unboxing, and we're going to put it together, use it, hopefully not be disappointed, fingers crossed. This is a machine from Europe, so you can't expect too much. But all in all, I'm excited to get it together, try it out, and we'll see what happens. All right, YouTube, I have all of the excess lumber removed, excess cardboard removed. Everything appears to be packaged very well. I think the unit only weighs like 800 or 900 pounds. Here's all the excess lumber. That'll be cleaned, separated, nails removed, and then it will go back out in shipping pallets, just like this guy right here. I'm going to now get into the instruction manual and see kind of what the first step is. I know this is going to be our unhooking transport bar. Goes in here. I kind of just need to know, I guess, where to start. Obviously that little guy right there is going to slide down on this very nicely machined surface. I will put grease on that, like 60. It is a hot one today. You hear the fans in the background running. Just trying to get a little bit of a breeze. I'm just about sweated out, but I'm gonna keep whittling away on this project. Okay, I have had this actually lowered down onto the spindle. I don't know what you really want to call it, but there is no way to grease any of this. So I'm going to put a liberal coating on it and then probably just, I don't know, dump some 80-90 weight down in there as I feel like it. This is hollow. You could drill and tap, put a grease zerd in there, and then just shoot the girl full, but is what it is. Okay, using our power of deduction and our manual, it says switch component in figure 1 with components in figure 2. So holder bar, I don't know really what to call it, gets removed from the mower. I think it would have been quicker to just hook everything up and roll, but then you can't raise the rear mower deck, if you will. So I applied a generous amount of grease to this spindle in here, lowered it down with the forklift. It's light enough you could actually do it by hand. I just choose not to because I'm older and weaker than I used to be. This is a belt tensioner, so that's kind of awesome. That's exposed. I won't have to get into this safety shield all the time. And to make a long story short, slid this down over the top of our spindle. I will be keeping a very close eye on that because this one bolt keeps this whole girl together. Don't think it'll be a crazy catastrophic failure if it comes apart, but something to be vigilant about. This, I believe, is installed correctly. That also helps it float and cam. And our hydraulic cylinder is there. There is no oil, probably for shipping reasons, so I was able to just have my brother Charles push down on the hydraulic coupler and pull that out by hand. And now I'm going to look over the manual some more, use the pictures they gave me. I know that our unhooking bar, pole, whatever you want to call it, goes right there. I'm going to probably raise this up even further with the forklift and install that now. This comes from the factory this way, I assume, so it sits inside the confines of the pallet. You take this bolt out, this will cam up like this, and then it is some sort of a transport lock system. That's going to cam up the higher you go. I would assume, I could be mistaken on this, that you need to disconnect your PTO if you sling it back that way. I could be wrong on that. Don't quite know yet. We will see. Okay, it appears to work. I'm going to tighten it up. Did a test fit to make sure my sway was proper. I don't really know. I'm kind of shooting from the hip. Going to tighten up this large nut here. It's a 24 millimeter. And swing it back. And then the breakaway hooks on here. Pretty self-explanatory. So far, I'm loving it. And I don't think, for at least the first video's sake, I don't think I'm going to put the covers on. I'm sure that's highly not recommended, but I want to try it, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this unit is going to replace my swathers. Obviously, do not run it without the shields on if you are concerned about it. I think the blades are going to be the same parallel with the ground if they come flying off. I don't know. Perhaps they'll go through a tractor tire and I'll regret every minute of it. I'm also a little confused as to the purpose of this chain. I assume this is for when this breaks away. Obviously your blade is spinning, or your PTO is spinning rather. The chain is supposed to keep it from slamming all the way back and breaking your PTO knuckles, I assume. I think I'm going to fish the chain and hook it right under that thing. I'm going to study the manual to see if that's the proper location for it. Makes sense in my mind. It also has this fairly light duty carabiner that I assume only takes so much as like a secondary measure. Once your breakaway breaks away, you rely on that, and then if you hit something that is still insanely immovable, you have the carabiner to hopefully save the day and get her shut down before you snap all of that off. I don't know, kind of shooting from the hip. All right, I greased our rear U-joint. I put a liberal coating of axle grease on the 540 PTO input. It's pretty simple. And before I go too crazy and use this thing, I am going to be taking pictures, detailed pictures of everything. I kind of have a parts manual here, but I have a feeling I will be able to order that PTO if I have a problem. Okay, YouTube, I have ran into my first problem, if you will. Really want to use this on the DX45 and the TC45DA New Holland, the one with the cab, obviously, for obvious reasons, but the PTO appears to be too long. When I get that PTO mounting apparatus slung, it is actually touching the casting right here, so a little bit too long. I'm gonna make sure that that sucker is available brand spanking new before I go modifying that. I could obviously take off 6 inches, whatever I need, and make it work, but before I do that, I want to get this sucker slung close to the tractor, see where I land, swing the mower, things like that, see if there's any kind of interference issues, and see if this tractor will handle it. This is only supposed to be like 900 pounds. Should be fine for this Category 1 tractor, but I don't know. So I'm going to first get the thing picked up, run the thing up and down before I hook any of my PTO up and go forward. Okay, with the unit in the transport position, I could not, granted I do not have my safety curtains on yet, I could not make the tractor pop a wheelie. I was out in the yard, kind of goosing the pedals back and forth, could not get the front tires to come off the ground, so that is a good sign. I think it will match up to these quite well. and I am just kind of experimenting and seeing the ins and outs right now. Okay, game plan for the PTO. I am going to take off 3 inches of the plastic shroud, 3 inches of this plastic shroud, and then 3 inches on the male side and the female side, coming up to 6 inches total. I'm going to use my Flange Wizard pipe wrap. This stuff is invaluable, very cheap, and that's what I'm going to get started on. Okay, we are definitely committed. I've chopped off my first piece, and I did a little bit of thinking, and this is protruding about 1.5 inches right here. So what I did was I measured enough to where I'm going to take off 4.5 inches, and then I'm going to take off 3.5 inches of the steel, and then I will still have just about the same protrusion of the steel part. So I don't know if that's correct, but it'll also give me a little bit of extra. If, say, I want to pull it off and just take off another 1/2 inch, I will probably be able to just chop the steel instead of chopping the plastic as well. Okay, all in all, I ended up taking off 7.5 inches off of each the female and male parts of the PTO. I have our little PTO shroud chain securement devices installed, and the PTO is askew to the drawbar. I'm going to slide it this way slightly and use my sway bars to hold it perfectly straight. Okay, YouTube, I apologize for any wind. It is about to get wild, it looks like. Probably gonna get rained out. Right up here, this probably 30 or 40 feet was the only thing that was actually tall enough to do a proper job. I did 2 passes just here in the yard behind the main shop here, and I'm cutting some stuff that's like 8 inches tall, and it actually started to put it in a windrow. Then I got over here to the low cut grass. It's probably 5 inches tall, and without the safety shielding on, the grass clippings just kind of went everywhere. That being said, this is very, very finely cut. I would say 1.5 to 2 inches off the ground. Say we're right at the 2-inch mark. It says there is an adjustment for the bottom spinning saucers, or free spinning saucers, and it really, because we're going from a large pulley to a small pulley, it really barks the tractor when you initially start up. So just for safety's sake, I'm going to put the shielding on. I don't know if it's 100% necessary, but I'm erring on the side of caution. However, all of the videos on YouTube, there are very few of them where this is running without the yellow shield on, so you really can't see what is happening. So I'm going to mount the tractor, get it fired up, hopefully we don't get rained out, and then go back to the shop and put the rest of the safety shielding on. I'm gonna kick the PTO in slowly. kind of an overriding clutch in the unit, because as soon as I idle down, you'll start to hear a clicking. Sounds like the old, I'll shut it down. Tractor in neutral. You can hear it. There's some kind of a overriding clutch in there. And I'm starting to get my first few sprinkles of rain. So I better get back to the shop. Very, very interesting. There is no doubt in my mind, if one of those blades came off, they would call me 1 Foot Willie. Kind of interesting. And it really gives it a golf course type look out here. Very, very interesting. I'm going to go put the safety shielding on. It's starting to become a steady drizzle now. I'm gonna go put the safety shielding on. Hopefully this rain will just zip around us and we'll go mow Charlie's pasture yet today. Okay, so I have the shielding launched, and once again, I don't know how anyone gets by without forklifts, because I would have had to take all of that yellow curtain off of there, install each one by itself, and then rebolt the curtain back on. Or you can just cheat with a set of fork extensions, and yeah, life is good. So, still, I haven't read the manual, obviously. Still am not quite sure about this like breakaway chain apparatus. I assume it's some kind of a safety measure. If you break away the this little safety device here and trip that, then it's supposed to keep the mower from slinging so far back that it breaks the knuckles of your PTO. Definitely something to that, because this thing takes like a solid minute to spool down. However, there's an overriding clutch, so I don't know. Your experience may differ. This is all just temporarily slung. I haven't got the right length, and this is the handle for it. Kind of a nice little rubber dealie. Just kind of playing with it, and gonna get the shields installed now. Okay, with quite a bit of effort, I have the shielding installed. This kind of bugs my OCD, that that's not perfectly in line, but what are you gonna do? It's just a old piece of hay equipment. Not everything always lines up just perfect. Switched these to standard. Just got tired of fighting the nylon lock nuts that they had. We are very poorly equipped for metric. All of the machinery we run is like old. Everything's tightened up on here. Installed this little doodad. No idea what that's for. And it really looks like we're tweaking the heck out of our tractor. However, once you get the drums on the ground, everything levels right out. So I, for the life of me, cannot understand, unless over in Europe, why you would want to sling the thing back. It saves you almost like no weight. I don't know if they have to fit down. I mean, I know they really have narrow roads over there, but for all the hassle and unhooking the PTO and blah, 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 on and on it goes, I can't understand why on earth you would ever want to do it. But anyway, here it is. Also, the added bonus of keeping the machine to the side, you can actually see behind you. I know back when Chucky 2009 was a thing, he always complained that once you had it folded up like this, you couldn't see cars behind your tractor, which I can agree with. The only other thing just came to mind is if you don't splurge for the hydraulic lift kit, there is no way to lift this, so you would literally have to sling it backwards and just beat the heck out of your tractor, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap the video right here. Hopefully this was informative. I don't know. We're gonna go try it out. We've got some second cutting to do. Hopefully it's not too much for the little DX45. It said the unit only weighs 900 altogether. It should handle it, and if we find it's too much for it, we'll just put it on a larger tractor. It's not like we don't have larger tractors. So, I'm gonna wrap the video right there. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and we'll see you next time.